All right, folks, good morning. As you can see, we have activated the Emergency Operations Center. We understand there is extreme cold weather, and so we've taken every precaution to ensure that we are ready. So we have taken steps already when it comes to certainly ensuring that folks have a warm set place to be if need be, and then we're going to also describe some of the safety precautions that we've put in place already, especially when it comes to the state of our roads. A lot of collaboration, a lot of hard work has already gotten us to this point to ensure that we are ready for what may be needed. The situation for folks that are watching the weather forecast has already changed, and so it is escalated even to what we thought it would be 24 hours ago. So we are prepared. Wanted to again reassure the community of the work that's been done, and then highlight the resources that are available for folks that may need a warm place to be. While we are doing this today, folks should know that there are already 6 resilience hubs available and open throughout the community. As well, we'll be utilizing our community centers, senior centers, and libraries as warming centers. So as you can see, it's a team effort. We've got certainly TxDOT, you can see some of the others, Public Works, our utilities, all of this working to ensure that we get through this extreme weather event as safely as possible. Let me say though, that will require San Antonio, our neighbors, everybody, we've got to be smart. Right? We've got to be smart. So there are some important resources that folks need to be following along with. sa.gov/cold weather. Certainly be monitoring the news. The utilities are also going to be pushing out updates if there are any changes to the state of our infrastructure. And then of course 311 is going to be a resource for folks that need help in any form or fashion. Again, my thanks already to the folks that have done hard work. Some of the roads in our community have already been treated. There's already been precautionary steps taken by our utilities as well to ensure that we are ready. I'm going to turn it over here to City Manager Eric Walsh. You'll hear from our utility, and then you also hear from TxDOT about the specific steps that they are taking. Okay, but first and foremost, the best thing that we can do for our community is to make sure that we're being smart. So let me encourage folks, if you don't need to travel, over the next kind of 48 hours, please minimize that. Not only to be able to ensure that our first responders can respond to issues in the community, but as you'll hear in particular from TxDOT, there's going to be work that is ongoing as they treat these roads, right? So if we can minimize any impact to their operations, which are there designed to keep us safe, we will be in the best situation possible. Okay, so now you hear from City Manager Eric Walsh about some of the coordination and some of the resources available in the city.
Thank you, Mayor, and I want to thank everybody for coming out this morning, including our partners. So just to add a little bit more information to some of the details that the Mayor laid out. As of this morning, there are a number of places where individuals can go to be warm. We do have 6 resilience centers that opened up this morning. They'll be open up through noon Monday. They are Copernicus Community Center, Southside Lions Community Center, Miller's Pond, Normoil, Gilbert Garza Community Center, and lastly the Northeast Community Center. All of those resilience centers are available to the general public, and please utilize them if you feel like you're in a position where you need that additional help. They're there to be able to provide that assistance for you. And again, those facilities opened up this morning and will be open up through noon on Monday. If you need transportation to any of those locations, you can call 311, and 311 will coordinate free of charge transportation with VIA for you. The second area for folks that need to be brought in from the weather for our unhoused and vulnerable population, we have 2 centers that opened up this morning that are City, Bodie, and Tobin Community Centers. There are additional partners that we're working with, Corazon Ministries, Cub, the Catholic Worker House, and I'm going to have to put on my glasses, sorry, New Direction Church. Those partners are key 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and in times like now, they're critical, and they additionally have opened up space for the unhoused. We have a capacity for just under 500 individuals that are in need of those services. Our outreach workers have began several days ago, the outreach, and will continue as we go through the weekend to be able to provide folks that assistance. Those facilities opened up at 8 a.m. this morning, and they'll be open up through noon on Tuesday. And then lastly, I want to reiterate VIA, and John Gary, thank you for being here this morning. VIA will be providing fare-free bus during the period. They're also providing, I want to reemphasize that if you need transportation to one of the resilience centers, call 311 and we'll coordinate with VIA to get you there through the TransLink free of charge. There are a number of department heads up here that are available, but I wanted to point out a couple of things. Jesus signs with the airport. Please, if you are scheduled to have a flight out of San Antonio, check with your airlines. There are a number of airlines that have already canceled flights out of San Antonio. That will likely continue over the weekend, so please make sure that you pay attention to any notifications made by the airlines. The airlines will ultimately make that call around cancellations. The San Antonio Police Department and San Antonio Fire Department are fully staffed and prepared, and will be coordinating with TxDOT. As TxDOT, you'll hear from Charles here in a second, will be continuing to monitor the freeway system and the overpasses. And we're closely coordinating with them so that if we have any sort of ice in those areas, then that part of the highway obviously will be closed, and we are on standby. So with that high level, I'm going to turn it over to Rudy Garza to kind of give you an update from a CPS perspective, and then we'll hear from Charles Benavides with TxDOT. Rudy?
Thank you, Eric, and thank you for your leadership, Mayor. I know there's always a lot of anxiety from going back to Winter Storm Uri on when events like this happen. Let me just reiterate to our community, CPS Energy is prepared. We've been working all week to make sure we understand what the forecast looks like. Tonight, 6 o'clock till tomorrow, 9 a.m.-ish, is kind of the period where we're paying attention to the potential for ice accumulation. But our power plants are running. There's plenty of power in the ERCOT market, so plenty of generation to keep the lights on. If you have an outage, the likelihood is it will be a localized outage due to wind or something that caused it. Please don't assume it's a broader issue. If there's an issue on the ERCOT system, we will be clear in our communication about that, but we are not expecting anything other than a little bit of cold, and we're prepared to do our jobs. Our linemen coming over here, our linemen are out in the street right now, reacting to the things that are happening in our system. If you have any issues, if you have any issues with CPS Energy that you need to call in on, I would encourage you 210-353-2222. Our energy advisors will be taking calls throughout the weekend. I would also encourage anyone who's a gas customer. Generally, most people aren't paying attention to their gas service, but in periods like this, gas usage goes up, and you might smell gas in and around your home. If you smell gas either inside your home or outside your home, please call our number again, 210-353-2222, and we will send a gas troubleman out to check you out and make sure you're safe. So we appreciate all our customers' support during times like this. We're ready to do our jobs over the next few days, and if our linemen and our crews are in your neighborhood, please let them do their jobs, and we'll get you back on if you're having a problem. So thank you, and we'll get through the next 3 days well. So I'm expecting good performance out of CPS Energy over the next few days. Thank you. Charles?
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Mayor, and for your leadership. So good morning, and thank you, everyone, for being here. As we continue into the weekend with the potential for winter weather and icy conditions, TxDOT is prepared and actively responding. We prepare for this every year, so we review staff, we check equipment, we ensure that we have all the materials needed to keep our roadways as safe as possible. So right now, more than 300 crew members in the San Antonio district are working around the clock to pre-treat roads and monitor conditions. Their work is essential to keeping critical routes open and passable for emergency responders and essential workers who must be out during this severe weather. Pre-treatment operations began on Thursday and will continue throughout the weekend. At the start of this event, we had almost 800,000 gallons of brine on hand, and we will continue to produce more as needed. We work closely with other state agencies to track the forecast. When winter precipitation is expected, we apply brine. It's a saltwater mixture that helps prevent ice from bonding to the roadway, and brine can be applied days in advance or during the event, and our teams adjust their schedules if heavy rain could reduce its effectiveness. So our top priority is safety. We strongly encourage everyone to stay home and off the roads during severe weather. Conditions can change quickly, and even a small amount of ice can make roads extremely hazardous. So if travel is necessary, please drive slowly and use extra caution. If travel is unavoidable, please check drivetexas.org before you leave. The site provides real-time statewide road conditions to help you plan your route and avoid getting stranded. And if you do encounter long delays, be prepared with fuel, food, water, and blankets for emergencies, and always call 911. TxDOT will continue to work throughout the weekend to respond to conditions as they develop. We appreciate the public's patience and cooperation as we work to keep everyone safe. Thank you.
So as you've heard, there's been a lot of work already that has gone in. Yep, there we go. As you've heard, there's been a lot of work already that has gone in to make sure that we are prepared, from the roads to the utilities, to certainly all the cross collaboration across the department to ensure our unhoused, to our furry friends, and of course to our neighbors have the resources. Again, so those 6 resilience hubs, those are already open at 6 this morning. And to clarify, the fare free that Eric mentioned, that is on via. If you are going to a resilience hub or to one of the centers, right? Just to clarify, that is who the fare free applies to. So those resilience hubs, though, again, if you go, please make sure you've got your supplies, you've got your clothes, you've got your medicine in particular, right? And those 6 hubs, Miller's Pond, Norm Oil, Gilbert Garza, Northeast, as well as the, there's the 2 at the, Copernicus as well, Norm Oil, right? Okay, so those are the 6 sites throughout the city. But folks, please go to sa.gov/cold weather, where there'll be more information about all the sites that are available. My thanks again to the firefighters, to the EMS, to the police officers that have worked already hard in preparation for this, as well as the work that they will do. But again, our job, San Antonio, is to minimize anything that gets in the way of them responding to things or continuing to ensure that we're at a level of preparedness for this. If there are any questions, happy to take those. Please.
Quick question, perhaps for Jesus. Just at the airport,
Yep.
We've seen the freeze coming a little earlier than expected. What kind of prep is going on for the runways and so on with regards to ice?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Eric. Good morning. We put an emergency operation plan into effect, so that plan has already been effectuated. We pre-treat all of our airfield and all of the roadways coming in and out of the airport complex. So we're going to remain open 24/7, 365, as we always do. We can't encourage people enough to please stay in contact with your preferred carrier to ensure that you're looking at the number of cancellations and delays that are happening. So we also encourage people to arrive early, as early as possible. We normally say an hour to an hour and a half. We know that we do a really good job of moving people through the TSA checkpoints, but this is a good period to arrive 2 to 2.5 hours early for domestic flights to ensure you have the right information. Thank you.
Sir.
For the fire chief.
Yep.
What can people do to stay safe at home, space heaters and the such?
Obviously, you have to use great care whenever you're using those kind of appliances. Should you have a power outage, I suggest that you not use stoves or wood-burning heaters inside, especially generators. We see that from time to time, so be very careful in that use. We've also had 2 fires related to space heaters. So use care and keep those approximately 3 feet away from anything flammable.
Yeah.
This is for Chief McManus. Are you able to say how many officers or units are right now making sure still gonna say safe during cold weather?
No, not exactly. We don't give those numbers out for security reasons, but we have every area that is liable to freeze over. We have that covered right now, and as soon as we understand that from observation and from the temperature, as soon as we understand those areas are going to freeze over, we're going to cut the traffic. But the advice is, if you don't need to be on the road, stay home.
Thank you.
Let me reiterate, the 311 is going to be a really important resource, especially when it comes to coordinating travel for those that may need it. 311 is from 7 to 11 p.m. After 11 p.m., folks will have to utilize the non-emergency SAPD number. And just because I want to make sure there's full clarity on the 6 resilience center, my apologies earlier for stumbling on that. The 6 centers are Copernicus Community Center, Southside Lions Senior Center, Miller's Pond Community Center, Normoil Community Center, Gilbert Garza Community Center, and the Northeast Community Center. Okay. Just because we are, let's just say, living in a different time, right, based on the session that we had on Thursday. If folks need to come to a resilience hub or if they need to come to a warming center, they just show up. Okay, they just show up, and we take care of our neighbors. Okay. Any further questions?
Are pets allowed at the resilience?
Pets are allowed. Thank you for asking that. Pets are allowed at the resilience center. They are also allowed at the warming center. I think we also do have several dozen still dog homes available, dog houses. Very grammatically incorrect, but dog houses available for folks if they need that. So please call 311. Let me also thank our community for stepping up. John Gary and the ACS team, they put out a call just because, as you know, our shelters are pretty close to capacity. So several animals that needed a home during this period, and our community stepped up and took those folks in, those dogs in. Folks in my house, but and took those dogs in. So thank you for doing that. And again, if you need additional, the dog houses, those are still available. And ACS team, they are doing that street monitoring. So please, once it gets to a certain temperature, make sure that our furry friends are inside. Okay, hearing no further questions. 311 is the resource. sa.gov/cold weather is going to be your resource for all key updates. Follow along on all the city's social media, and please stay safe, stay warm. Thank you.